Listen now, we the talk around town. Alex threw the ball to Smokey for a touchdown. Ha. It's fourth down and you don't really want no more. We've been winning from the door. You should check the scoreboard. Ha. Check the scoreboard.
Welcome back to another episode of The Scoreboard. The season's over. We've concluded the regular season. We've got a lot of stuff to discuss in terms of not only the NFL results, but our personal prediction results and who won what bets and who won the prediction game. That's, of course, your part to play. But we have playoffs to predict 4 games from Wild Card Round today. And it's gonna be fire. I mean, it's gonna be really interesting. But first, let's recap. So, it's been an interesting week. But the question on everybody's mind, if everybody were me, is how did the prediction game turn out? How did it go?
How did it go? And by the way, I didn't know if I was actually here because I was never introduced, Alex. But
Smokey's here. You are a co-host
Smokey,
of the show. I only introduce guests.
You didn't even ask me how I was doing or anything. So just add to my depression of the season ending right away.
How were you doing? Like mediocre, probably.
Yeah,
like
mediocre.
The Falcons have been doing, almost not worthy of being mentioned.
Like the
49ers
almost blew their game.
I mean, blew their game. It was a great game. They did.
It was a great game. Actually,
I'm not gonna lie. They did. People are trying to take it apart, but I actually was actually pretty happy with the way the officiating was handled at the end, except for one or two really bad calls. But it was one of the better officiated games of the year that I've seen, for sure. Because I've seen a lot of screwy stuff, and I think the way they handled that last couple plays were actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was. Did you kind of clinch up when you saw Hollister make a dive for the goal line there?
But then I reminded myself that what happens when everyone's expecting Marshawn Lynch to get the ball at the 1 yard line, and I knew that there was no way we're gonna lose it.
Well, he did it once earlier in the game, so.
Yeah, he did, but that was not that. I mean, to win the game, I should add to win the game,
to
win a huge game.
Then they'll try a pass.
Yeah, so they take a delay of game, so that was phenomenal. I love that. That was great.
Yeah, exactly. But this week, man, we disagreed on 2 games, and that would be the Browns and Bengals. Guess who won that one?
That's true. Yeah, the Bengals won that.
Yeah, the other one was the Titans Texans. Guess who won that one?
I see what you're saying.
You know what? Maybe. Wow. Okay. I thought you picked the Ravens to win after knowing they were going to sit. Okay, so I'm right. I was sitting here looking at it. I was like, didn't you pick the Ravens? But you didn't, did you? You picked the Steelers.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think I picked the Steelers, yeah. We both picked the Steelers, I think.
You did. That's how I have it written down. All right, so I got 2 up on you. And guess how many I was behind last week? 2. That brings the total to 163.5 apiece. We are tied at the end of the season.
See, you're not gonna believe this, right? But before we went through this, I'm doing the spreadsheet, the one for all our bets that I keep track of throughout the season. I was trying to look at that and pull up all the results from that and actually determine how much we owe each other. And throughout close to over 15 to 20 bets, we are tied exactly in this category also.
Yeah.
We're tied exactly.
Wow, that's crazy.
So of the yearly bets, we had 6 yearly bets. I'm going to go through them just to get an overview. We had the Falcons record over under at 10. I won that because I picked the under. We had the Niners over under at 8. I also won that because I picked the over. I won 2 monsters with those 2. Then we had the Jets with the winning record. I lost. And you won 1 monster with that. Then we had the Colts with the over-under at 8, and Gardner Minshew was clutch, so I won that, got 2 monsters for it, because I went 7 and 9. And then we tied at 1 pizza each. You with the Juju being the number 1 receiver, you lost that, but you won it back with the Chris Godwin leading the Bucs in receiving. So off of the yearly ones, in total, I'm up 3 cans of Monster, but then you get all the weekly bets tallied up because I picked against the Niners a lot. I make these insurance bets, and that kind of cost me. Though I will mention that I won every single weekly bet that didn't involve the Niners game.
Really?
I will mention that. I picked Daniel Jones to win his debut.
Yeah, I made some ridiculous
I picked
bets
against the picks and the sacks that you bet for. So and so over the weekly bets, you were up for 3 cans, so we're completely tied.
That's 12,
which means
12 sack.
Which means
game.
we have
We
have 4 bets currently still running. So Dolphins versus the long-term ones, Dolphins versus Cardinals, and then the couple of draft ones, which we can't decide. Next one that's going to be decided is going to be the draft ones. So
yeah.
On draft days is when the next bets will be decided for these ones at least. So crazy, we tied everything. Who would have thought?
It's ridiculous. Did you mention the Colts breaking it? Oh no, the Colts didn't break either. Never mind.
No, the Colts went 7-9. That's why I won that. That's what was so clutch.
They had
started off
no
5-2.
reason.
I was about to.
No reason losing to the Jags.
Yeah, I was about to resign. Though I will say that, in retrospect, I could have won the bet on the Jets because Sam Darnold missed 3-4 games.
Yeah, well,
with the illness.
Yeah,
and he went 6-2 after week 10, and they went 7-9. With, by the way, the worst offensive line in the NFL, but I don't even know why I bring that up.
Yeah,
and,
well, I mean, if we're
7-9.
If we're going off that premise, though, Juju could have still been the number 1 receiver if Big Ben didn't get hurt, but that's not how reality works.
Maybe I don't know. But yeah, so the Jets could I believe Van Darnold would have been capable to have a winning record with even that team, and with a more competent team, he's gonna do pretty good things, and I'll probably have him involved in more bets in the future if you're not gonna start believing in him more. So that seems like easy money to me. By the way, I apologize if there's fireworks going on as we progress through this video. If you can hear it on the tape in the background, I'm literally recording this during the turn of the year, close to midnight. So I don't have control over that. But yeah, we tied
early.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they've been going for 3 days. Everyone, it's crazy. I don't even have neighbors. No one lives here, and I can still hear it. So we're tied for everything. It's crazy. But
this is how it breaks down. I mean, we had 163.5 games right because of the one tie. Out of 200,
I mean, that's fine.
Out of 256 games, I mean, we went well over 500. That's a 63% correct. Not bad.
That is pretty good.
I mean, I would like to have 75%, but 63 is not bad.
We gotta write that down. And next time try to overshoot that a little bit. You know,
definitely
get to 70% or something. I think getting 70% will be solid.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay, 130 is fine. Obviously, I wanted to win, or prefer to win, but we still have something to come up, so we're starting again. Or it actually doesn't even matter if we count this the playoffs on top of the regular season or not, because we're tied anyway. But we're starting new prediction series for the playoffs, obviously, and I think we'll get into that right now, because we got 4 games this week, and a lot of those seem pretty interesting. Now, not as many as they were during the regular season, of course, but definitely some discussion. So. Let's just get into it. Let's start off with Bills at Texans.
Man, these are going to be so much harder to pick, of course, because there is no cupcake games left, and
every week.
Yeah. Now this is tough because, well, like I just said, it's all tough. I'll just say this: I'm gonna put more faith into that Bills defense than the Texans defense for sure. Although I don't know if you know this, but Deshaun Watson is a very good quarterback.
There's 2 pretty good quarterbs in this game. I agree. Yeah.
There's 2 elite. Well, one elite quarterback and one that's
2 pretty
good.
Evenly matched quarterbacks in this game.
Yeah, except for one of them's got a little bit of head on the rest of them.
Yeah, one of them is a bit more mobile. The other one's a bit more physical.
Yeah, there you go.
Pretty evenly matched. JJ Watt's coming back. The Texans might have the better defense. Not really, but the defenses are going to be pretty evenly matched too. They're going to be pretty evenly
You think
matched.
It's going to be even? Because you can pass all day on the Texans.
I don't know.
Good luck passing on the Bills.
We'll see
I mean, but it's Deshaun Watson. He can do things like that. Man, this is tough. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this is tough, but it is. And I'm going to go with my heart here and say the Bills on the road. And
Bills. So you're picking the team you actually favor here.
Yeah, I'm picking my team that I want to see win rather than than probably.
Well, I also do
favorite.
want to see the. Yeah, I also do want to see the Bills win. I'm not sure if they're actually favorite, the Texans. I mean, they're at home, so that does probably factor into it a little bit. Maybe they're favored by like a point or two. Mm-hmm. But it shouldn't be much, considering how the teams have played towards the end of the season. Now, the Bills didn't have a good game. They lost their final game in not so glorious fashion to the Jets, who are legit, by the way. With I don't know if you knew this, but the Jets have an elite quarterback who's probably better than both these guys.
Hey, I don't know.
That's besides the point.
I don't know if you knew this, but they have a horrible coach.
I did that. That is true. I'm not going to deny that one bit. There's one positive thing about the Jets in the last 2 years. That's been Sam Darnold. Nothing else. Yeah. I've never denied that. They picked Quinn Williams. He was hurt more than anything else. So that's I'm not going to deny that. That is obviously true. But for this game, I'll pick the Bills as well. I'll take them. I think.
Yeah.
Like you said, they probably have a marginally better defense, even with JJ Watt being back. And I believe they can be more consistent in their running game specifically than Houston. If they manage to shut down that Houston offense, limit them to like 10 to 13 points, or maybe 17, they have a good shot. And I also really want to see, this is the thing, I really want to see the Bills play the Patriots again in the playoffs. Speaking of the Patriots, by the way, they're hosting the Titans. Very, very uncharacteristically for the Patriots, they don't have a first-round bye. Crazy.
First time in 10,
so what do you think of this
10
one?
seasons, right?
Uh-huh.
You know what? All smart money is on the Patriots because they don't lose in the playoffs. I mean, it only happens once every 3 seasons or so that they lose in the playoffs, and they're especially not going to lose in the wild card round. But Tannehill is on fire. And A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry, these 3 guys could definitely put one over on the Patriots defense because we saw Fitzpatrick and Devontae Parker put one over on the Patriots defense.
Yeah.
So
the Miami Miracle 2.0 every single year. It wasn't even
in
Miami.
Foxborough.
It was at New England.
Hey, I said that. I didn't pick the Patriots to win, but I said that this is a possibility here. This is a good possibility. And they did it. They went up there and pulled it off. And
crazy.
It's not like the Pats were sitting their starters because Edelman was out there and Brady was out there and Sony was out there. So they were trying to win that game and couldn't win that game against one of the bottom half teams in the league.
For a first-round bye.
Yes, at home at that. So this leads me to, with the Titans being on fire, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Patriots are a dumpster fire. I'm picking the Titans.
A bit of an exaggeration, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. People are going to hate me for saying that. But Titans on the road.
Titans on the road. I know this is a popular pick. I know everyone is going to agree with you in the comments and everything. Titans winning at New England. If the Patriots play the way they did last week, they're probably not going to stand a chance because they played terrible. They lost to the Dolphins at home. You can't do that. And the Titans are a much better team. And Titans are one of the teams really on the upswing at the moment. Because I want to win the prediction game, though, I will be the unpopular one here. I pick the Patriots to win it because they're at home. They have a better record. They have a better head coach. They have a more established system and a better defense. And I think that Ryan Tannehill is not yet at that level in this system specifically. So the Patriots will find a way to get it done. They're going to run the football. Titans have somewhat of a tough time stopping that. And I think they'll shut down. I think the Patriots defense will shut down. I think they'll recover. Because you best believe they're not getting a day off this week. After this performance going into a wild card, you do not want to be in that building right now because it's going down probably.
Oh,
the
Belichick's
way we know Bill Belichick.
Screaming every expletive he can think of right now.
He's not going to be having any losses in the wild card round. That's not his way. So they're going to find a way to do it because they have been doing that for 20 years. Against the Titans, though, they certainly don't look like a contender right now, and this might also be their last win of the year, depending on who they face, but we'll get to that next week, of course. We've got the Vikings at the Saints, and flashbacks in a lot of people's minds.
Oh, yeah.
Once again.
The Minnesota
miracle. This time it's in New Orleans. So.
Yes, which leads me to believe the all-around better team here and the better quarterback. is Drew Brees and the Saints. Better wide receiver, better running back. Although Dalvin Cook is a great running back, he's not back yet. He's not playing in this, right?
I doubt it.
I think we're still looking at Alexander Madison and Mike Boone splitting the backfield there. So, yeah, this is the easiest one for me to pick out of the entire slate, and I'm going with the Saints at home. Yeah.
Not sure if this is the easiest one for me, but it's I do agree that it's on the easier side. I will also pick the Saints. Mm-hmm. And with the exact same reasoning that you basically provided, because Kirk Cousins is what we know that he is. He's good, and the Vikings are good, and they were the 6th seed, and they made the playoffs in a mediocre division. Set aside the Packers. And the Saints are, or have been throughout the entire year, one of the teams that we've thought they can win it all year. They can go to the Super Bowl potentially, because they've always been one of those top 3, I want to say, teams in the NFC that have always been in that sort of conversation. And for them, it has to be a mandatory win at home at the Superdome. Disappointing for them to not get a first round bye. Doesn't happen a lot that a 13-3 team doesn't get a first round bye, but that's the NFC for you this year. A lot of things could have gone differently. You know, the Packers lose one more game, or they win that nail biter against the Niners at home. But now they're in 3 seed. They have to take care of business against the Vikings. I think they'll get it done because they're the better team. Mm-hmm. How about the Seahawks and the Eagles?
Yeah, this is. I don't know which one you were referring to that was the easiest game to pick, but this is a tough game for me to pick. And I've made my selection, but it could go either way. Well, any of these really could.
Are you making fake hype right now, or do you really believe it?
No, because it's too hard to make fake hype on these, because literally all the teams are good. You know, they wouldn't have been here if they weren't. There's no. Like, you remember when the Bills squeaked in a couple years ago, everybody knew they were going to lose in the first round. Like, that was an easy call. But literally all 4 of these teams are really good, and any of them are probably good enough to have a first round bye, to tell you the truth. Maybe the Eagles, but the Eagles have played excellent in the last 2 games, and Carson Wentz looks like the Carson Wentz of old. And they are depleted. They have no wide receivers to speak of, except for J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. And am I missing somebody? Either way, I'm gonna take the Eagles at home because I don't like the Seahawks.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I don't either. Believe me. I believe me. I don't like the Seahawks, but I'm not going to let that cloud my judgment here. And I'm going to pick the logical pick. Well, it seemed like that's what you were arguing there. I'm going to pick. If you say you'll pick the Eagles because you don't like the Seahawks,
because I don't like them to win the game.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, see, I flat out just don't like them. No matter who wins, I don't like the Seahawks. But I'll take the Seahawks to win this though, because remember that this one field goal here or there, this could have been the Dallas Cowboys in that same spot.
Well, yeah.
And we talked for 16 weeks how apparently no one wanted to win this division. Mm-hmm. And we said whomever goes to the playoffs will get their butt kicked by either Seattle or San Francisco in the first round and in the wild card and go home. And now you come out and pick the Eagles. Yeah. That's dubious to me. I'll take the Seahawks. I think they're a better team.
I agreed with that a few games back. But after the last 2 games and seeing how good Carson Wentz has played the last 2 games, and it seems like they're on a mission again. I mean, let's not forget, they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They went back to the playoffs last year. They're not strangers to winning, and they do well in the playoffs.
That's true.
They.
I mean, be my guest. I mean, let the Eagles win it. I'll take it. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, let's put a can of Monster on it. How about it? I mean,
yeah, let's do it. I know the odds are against me on that one, but I'll take it because I like the Eagles.
Courage your conviction.
Yeah. Why not?
No. Carson Wentz is fantastic. He's great, but he is playing with absolutely no talent around him. I mean, this team is depleted. You mentioned it. It's sort of like the opposite of the Cowboys, I want to say, where you got so much talent surrounding mediocre personnel like head coach and quarterback, hint hint, in Dallas, that team seems viable but ultimately underachieves. The exact opposite is the case for the Eagles right now. You got an outstanding head coach, got an outstanding quarterback, and playing with, tackling dummies as wide receivers. So I don't think they'll overcome it, even though they are at home, which, by the way, is it's not a good look on the system with the Eagles having the home field advantage over Seattle after the seasons both had. But that's how it works. But I think Seattle will get it done on the road. So that's our picks.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the implications there going further a little bit. So assuming that we both assume the Saints win, that means that they would go to Green Bay the week after to take on Aaron Rodgers in the cold Wisconsin winter. How would you look at that game when that happens, or if that happens?
I'm sorry, repeat that again.
So if the Saints win, we both assume the Saints will win against the Vikings. That means that they would go to Green Bay next week and play against Aaron Rodgers. How do you think that would? How do you look at that with the Packers coming off a bye week?
That's gonna be tough because Aaron Rodgers hasn't played well at all, but he still wins. And as our motto on this show, you never pick against Aaron Rodgers. But the Saints.
That is true.
Saints are on fire, and they have been all season.
With certain exceptions.
Yeah. The Falcons. But the Falcons really whooped them. And that could be what Green Bay would do in this situation. Man, it's hard for me to imagine Aaron Rodgers playing at the level he's playing right now, completing a lot of passes downfield with a Marshawn Lattimore down there. He's a legit shutdown cornerback. So it's tough. Devontae Adams has not been Devontae Adams this season whatsoever. So it would be all up to Aaron Jones to win that game. I'll say that. I don't think if the Packers could pull that off, it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams doing it. It's going to be Aaron Jones.
You think so?
I think so.
At home, in the outside Lambeau Field with the Southerners from the Dome, a lot that determines a lot. That has determined a lot in the past.
Mm-hmm. And trust me, I hate the Saints. I don't like saying that, but man, it's just. They're good. And they are due. Think of how they've played the last 3 years and still haven't made it back to the Super Bowl.
Yes, that is obviously true. That is correct.
And they're definitely due for it. So why not this year?
We will see. The Vikings arguably with the worst shot in the entire lineup, I want to say, though. A fun piece of information that I read is that the Titans Super Bowl odds right now are actually worse than they were at the start of the season.
Really?
Yes, for I don't know what reason. But if we look at the path that the Titans would have to take to get to the Super Bowl, assuming they win this week and they go to Baltimore next week, which is nigh impossible. Yeah. Assuming they win that, they probably go to either Kansas City or Houston. Let's be honest, which probably Kansas City. So that's going to be incredibly tough. And the Vikings face a similar thing. I want to say the Vikings have an even harder matchup, honestly, just on account of being in the NFC. They got to win at New Orleans, win at San Francisco, and win at Green Bay, most likely, in that order, which it seems impossible to me.
Yes.
For a team like the Vikings. Such a predictable team like the Vikings.
There's almost no chance we see a Vikings-Titans Super Bowl.
No, that's probably you're probably more likely to win the lottery.
Yeah, exactly.
Win the Powerball 3 times over than for that to happen, honestly. Though I wouldn't mind if the Titans made it. I wouldn't mind if the Vikings did, of course, but I wouldn't mind it if the Titans made it.
Yeah, I think most likely right now is Saints-Ravens.
Possible, yeah. Though the Saints, not having a first round bye is tough.
That's true.
Are they still favored at San Francisco and at Green Bay? You got to think, because they'd have to play both those also, very likely.
Yeah.
So are they favored in both those games, coming off of a wild card game where they didn't have a week off.
That's true. I mean, historically, it's always the first or second seed that makes it to the Super Bowl, but it's not impossible.
Not impossible. That is correct. So I wouldn't mind if the Titans made it, obviously, but we'll see.
I'll go ahead and say this: the Saints have the best offense in the playoffs right now.
The Saints have the best offense
in the NFC. In the NFC, definitely not more than the Ravens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you bring up the Ravens. Oh, okay. I see. I see the shots you're taking, but that's cool. Saints having the best offense in the NFC. It's tough because there's so many very potent offenses in the NFC. I want to say that both the wild card, the wild card teams, first round bye teams also have very explosive offenses. But yeah, the Saints have a lot of names. That is correct. But when they get into shootouts, they gotta win them. Is the thing for New Orleans, and they have to beat the Vikings. As ridiculous as it sounds, they haven't won the game yet.
Yeah.
So it still needs to be done. We're assuming they will, but it remains to be seen. So, what do you think is? You said it already. You said Saints Ravens. But what do you think is the most likely matchup? Looking at how the bracket turned out, do you think it's the Saints and Ravens?
I think so. I mean, you kind of threw me off there because of the historical reference that it's usually the first and second seed that make it, and very rarely does a wild card team make it. But man, I gotta say the Saints is the best team in the NFC, at least the best offense. I mean, you can make an argument for the 49ers having a better defense, of course, but I don't know, man. That's tough. I mean,
it's tough. The NFC is really tough.
I definitely put them over the Packers. I mean, it's hard to pick against Aaron Rodgers, but if you look at a side-by-side comparison of the Saints and the Packers, I think 99 out of 100 would agree that the Saints have
Green Bay.
I think the Saints, I think most people would agree with me that the Saints have a better team than the Packers right now.
Yeah, better if you say like that, of course, I would agree with that. But having a better team than someone and beating Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay in the playoffs are two very different things.
That's very true.
So, I mean, it might come down to it. We'll have to see. If the Saints win this. Where do they go? If the Saints win this, they'll go to Green Bay, right? Yeah, they will go to Green Bay after this.
I think so.
Yeah, because the Eagles and Seahawks are both lower seeded, so the winner of that team will go to that game go to San Francisco.
Tough. It's gonna be tough.
What did we pick before the season as our Super Bowl matchups? Because we did that. We like in the beginning. I think I picked the Packers in the NFC. Think I did.
Maybe so. I might have it written down here.
Packers, maybe Packers Patriots or Packers Chiefs or something. I'm not exactly sure. I think something like that was what I picked.
We could always go back and re-listen and revisit that
and dig
for sure.
The older episodes. But the team that we brought up on the side that notably did not make the playoffs, Dallas Cowboys. And as of this recording, and of course we can't guarantee for anything happening in the next few days, but as of this recording, no call has been made on the Cowboys situation regarding head coach Jason Garrett. So, what do you think is going on? What's happening right now?
I think Jerry Jones is giving his. I don't know, man. I would think that Jerry Jones is trying to come up with reasons to fire him, but. You're saying that you think Jerry Jones is coming up with reasons to keep him.
I think the opposite is true. Yeah. I think that if he wanted to fire him, he had plenty of reasons. I mean, not making the playoffs with arguably a top 5 most talented roster in the league is more than enough reason to fire him. Missing the playoffs in 7 out of the last 10 years or something with the teams that they've had over the years, more than enough reason. He could have fired him in 2012. He could have fired him almost every single year, except for maybe 2017, 2016, 2017.
Yeah, the last Romo year could have fired him horrible, and then the Dak's rookie year was when they kind of turned things around. But then Dak had a horrible season in the next season, and he could have been fired then. But
Yeah. Well, we've been looking for reasons for, or we've been expecting Jason Garrett to be fired for years now, is what I'm saying, right?
Exactly.
And he never has. And whenever Jerry Jones decided he wasn't going to fire him, people were shocked about it because they expect that it's time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think that he's looking for reasons not to fire him. I think a lot of people would have fired him on the spot after that last game, or even halfway through the season, to try bring in some new energy to maybe save that season.
I think Jason Garrett is on his hands and knees right now. Like, man, Jerry, I got kids. I've got kids, Jerry. You know, you've seen them. You've seen them, the precious little things. You know.
Yes, he's seen it because they're close friends. Is the thing, and they've been on plenty a dinner and family trip together.
Remember at the barbecue. And Jerry's like, I know, Jason.
And that's exactly.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I've seen them, man. And you know what? It's really hard. It's just really hard. I mean, you got the city of Dallas they wanted you gone for years, man.
And then it's like a parallel, by the way. This reminded me of the parallel with the Robert Kraft Tom Brady situation.
Yeah.
Where the owner makes a decision to hang on to someone that they are personally friends with, to maybe costing the organization as a whole, because Bill Belichick wanted to keep Garoppolo, wanted to trade Tom Brady away and retain a young quarterback, but Robert Kraft wouldn't have it. And the same thing could be said for Jason Garrett and Jerry Jones here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think a lot of coaches in the NFL with that type of talent would last long if they didn't make the playoffs. And because they are close friends, and remember, man, Jason Garrett was the backup quarterback, way back when Jerry was, when Jerry just had become the owner, and they won those Super Bowls back in the 90s. So they go back a long way. I think Jerry Jones is looking for reasons not to fire him, and I wonder what he's going to come up with. And by the time that this video's up and people are watching this, it might be done. Mm-hmm. But as of now, 2 meetings of Jason Garrett with the Joneses. We expected something to happen. Nothing happened. Nothing has been announced. And now they're saying no, a decision is imminent. So we'll have to wait and see how this goes on. Someone who didn't struggle as much with the decision, or not with his decision, but with his job, is Freddie Kitchens. He was gone. He was out the door, and no one was surprised. Though the team, I believe, stated a couple of weeks ago that they were holding on to him or something, so that didn't turn out well. And of course, now John Dorsey has also been released. So the Browns, once again, back in the Browns' basement. Full rebuild, in my opinion. So, any closing words on the Cleveland Browns?
What can we say? Man, I thought it was very fitting. I think that what did that headline say? Browns relieve Kitchens of duties, and I was like, yeah, that sums it up right there.
That's it's the first time that is not a euphemism.
Exactly.
That's correct, yeah. Absolutely. Though I want to say he fit in pretty well, and I mean, we always talk about coaches setting the tone, setting the atmosphere for their team. Mm-hmm. He did do that, just not in the way you want it.
Yeah. Well, he definitely, he fit in with the atmosphere and the culture there in Cleveland, man. Yeah. And the Cleveland of this season is the Steelers of last season without the wins. You see what I'm saying? Like, without...
Yeah, and the Steelers have never been this bad, by the way. As a matter of fact, with every passing day, it seems like the Steelers are actually a tighter organization, seeing as the insanity that has ensued on the side of Antonio Brown ever since leaving Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. Which makes me think that he didn't just become that after leaving. He was always that type of guy. So
yeah, of course.
Knowing what we know now, and he's going more insane every day, it's actually surprising that so little came out from his side while in Pittsburgh still.
Yeah.
Like, imagine him on the Browns, like with Odell and Baker and Freddie Kitchens.
He would fit in though. That would be perfect for him.
He would, yes, he would.
And he would still be there right now. He wouldn't be trying out for the Saints or whatever they got going on, which is utterly ridiculous that the Saints even give him.
I hope they sign him though. I really hope the Saints sign him so he can disrupt them from within and then still get put on the exempt list. I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, I mean it would be ridiculous
because he's not going to play. He's not going to play.
Exactly.
I mean the commissioner's office has stated very clearly if someone picks him up, he's going to the list. He's not playing.
And you already have the number one receiver in the entire NFL. What do you need?
Yeah, I don't get why. I don't get why the Saints sometimes timber out in these sort of waters, because remember when they did the similar thing with like Des Bryant 3 years ago?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem like they would be that type of team to mess with these types of players.
Well, they actually signed Dez, and then he
they did, yeah.
He was injured before he ever stepped on the
he
field.
was hurt the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, though, it seems not very Saints. Seems not very Sean Payton somehow. He's always one of the more authoritarian coaches that you would think of. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of weird.
Yeah.
But that's that. Maybe closing topic before the fireworks also really go off.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the college football. We've seen the Peach Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
The national championship game is set, and we predicted it last week. We were wrong on one game, which, by the way, I gotta admit, I went to bed at halftime during that game, thinking I was right. We got it.
Well,
we know college football. Got everything figured out.
Yeah.
After LSU put 60 on Oklahoma, should have put 100 on them. By the way,
and they could have.
In my
definitely
humble, and they could. They absolutely. They had 49 at halftime or something, or even 50. It was blowout like we predicted. Ohio State managed to lose the game somehow.
You know why?
Against Clemson.
Because there's a whole new motto or slogan or phrase that we're gonna have to use now, and that's you never bet against Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, is that the case?
The kid doesn't know how to lose. I mean, he's never. He's
playing in college right now. He's playing in college. I'm not going to make that statement about anyone who's not even in the NFL.
Was it 41 games straight in high school also, and now he's up to 28 in college? I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's impressive.
It'll be more impressive
I'm not going to say he's not great.
If he gets through the NFL undefeated, of course. But at this point, I think my bigger point with that is we don't know how he's going to act when he does lose because he's never done it. So...
All right, so what I'm taking from this is you're picking Clemson to win the national championship.
That's tough. I can't really pick them.
Okay, you can't. So you're gonna break the rule that you invented 20 seconds ago.
Exactly. I'm gonna have to break the rule I invented 20 seconds ago because
what a pointless rule.
This is the most dominant. This is the most dominant team probably ever in college football. And the LSU Tigers.
Don't do the last 15 years of Alabama like that. We're not quite 15, but close.
I would put this LSU team against any of those teams. I mean, there was some great defenses, you know.
There was great defenses. Like great defenses. Do you think that LSU, like Joe Burrow, would have a chance against the 2014 Bama defense, Ashawn Robinson, Reggie Ragland, Reuben Foster. Remember that? Micah Fitzpatrick.
And on offense,
Andy
you had
Jackson.
Amari Cooper and Derrick Henry.
No dice.
I don't know, man.
They had everybody.
We should revisit this in like 6 years and be like, oh man, you know all the players that were on that LSU team. Look where they're at now.
Maybe, but that remains to be seen. I mean, we're doing that probably for last year's Clemson team, seeing as how many of those guys have gotten drafted pretty high in the first round. But, so you put up the rule, never bet against Trevor Lawrence. 10 seconds later, you bet against Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, it's I don't know.
So that means the rule is void, right?
I'll phrase it like this. I'm expecting LSU to win, but if Clemson wins, I'm going to be like, yep, that's the rule. That's you don't bet against Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, awesome. So
it will be interesting to see his first loss and how he handles it.
So you're placing your bets after the event. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
That's it.
I'm gonna always do that.
Yes.
Now.
That's the safest way to do it.
Gonna keep that in mind for life. As a matter of fact, I'm actually gonna walk into like a betting office after the Super Bowl and just place money on the team that won last night, and they'll just be like, that's what the rule says. I intended. I knew they were gonna win. I'm gonna try to pull that one out of the real betting office and see what happens.
That's how you do it.
So,
Be
yeah.
like, my prediction is the people that won the damn game. That's my prediction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my pick.
Yes. And I'm betting
Now
I'm
hand
betting
over
on
the
the
cash.
winners right now. So after they win,
Exactly.
go ahead and pay me.
Oh yeah, that's even better. Just fill the ticket up beforehand, but just pick the win. Whatever team wins, I'll pick
Yes,
it.
exactly.
Exactly.
Can't say I'm wrong.
That's not how we do it. So you invent the rule of never pick against Trevor Lawrence, and as of now, the rule has been disobeyed more than it has been obeyed.
Yes. But
It has been broken once, obeyed
if
zero
they
times.
win next season, nobody should ever pick against Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. I'm curious to see.
Because by all aspects, they
okay.
shouldn't have beat.
He's gonna
Ohio
play. He's
State.
gonna play another season, of course, because Joe Burrow's getting drafted. Tua's getting drafted. Though Alabama has already recruited another 5-star quarterback. I forget his name. Bryce Young, I think, the kid
Bryce
from Mater
Young,
Dei.
yes.
5-star recruit. Second, I think number 2 quarterback in the nation. But they got someone lined up, and he's pretty good. So I've seen some of that footage, so I'm looking forward to that, of course. But yeah, I'm not gonna pick against Trevor Lawrence next year in most of the season until the playoffs. Probably won't, but I am going to disobey your rule also, which means the rule is even more meaningless.
No, it doesn't mean anything right
because
now, but it will
It
in a few.
doesn't. So maybe just the point where you proposed it was not a good. Was
Yeah,
not
I
that
probably
good.
should have
See,
waited
if
until
you announced
after,
that rule.
Yeah, after next weekend.
See, if you had announced that rule when Trevor Lawrence turned 16 years old and never lost a game until
that
now,
would be
then
impressive.
maybe right now we would have looked back at it and be like, okay, that was actually a pretty good
And you know
rule.
what's
Maybe he had a
crazy is
point.
I watched
But
him play when he was 16 years old.
Really?
Yeah, in
In high
state
school?
championships. Yeah, he was there every year. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, of
good.
course, if you never lose,
but
where
yeah.
else would you be? You know.
Yes, that's true. But you kind of just you went to the betting office and picked the winner.
Yes,
retroactively
that's what I'm doing.
with that
I'm
rule.
picking
So
the
I'm
winner.
not going to put too much. Not gonna put too much credit on.
I'm
that.
gonna write on
And,
my slip. They're like, "What is your pick?" And I'm gonna be like, "The winner."
The winner. The winner.
I can't be
Whomever
wrong.
wins, oh,
You know, it's
got everything on it. Got everything on it. All right, we'll see.
100%
We'll see what
correct.
happens. But I'll take LSU. You take LSU.
Yes.
And I know what's gonna happen if actually I'm not gonna just let it pass like that. If Clemson wins, I don't want to hear a word about remember the rule. I told you.
Yes.
You pick LSU. So there is not gonna be
Hey,
any moral high
do
ground
as I say, do.
if Clemson were
not
to
as
win
I
this.
do.
Exactly.
Yes. Just
No. LSU wins this. If they don't, no moral high ground on your side. I'm just making sure. I don't want to hear it. But yeah. I don't really even play favorites. As a matter of fact, I might want Clemson to win ever so slightly.
yeah. I don't. I mean, of course, I like to see the SEC do well because the rest of the country hates on the SEC, and everybody's like, "Oh, they're not as good as everybody says they are." Well, the SEC is as good as they say they are. Ask Oklahoma
Yes,
if
they
the
are.
SEC is good as everyone
Though
says.
it's weird that you would do this in college, but not in the NFL, right? Like you're not rooting for the NFC South if it's not the Falcons
No.
to make it to the Super Bowl. Like you don't want
No,
the Saints to
it's
make it to the Super
different
Bowl.
because, I mean, yeah, you would say the NFC South. Although I did cheer for the Panthers to beat the Broncos because I hate the Broncos. And
Oh yeah, right here.
and I'm picking the Saints to win, but I don't want them to win. It's tough.
You don't
and
want to win. You still root against
I don't
people.
necessarily-
Like I still rooted against the Rams in the Super Bowl last year.
Really?
I don't like the Patriots, but the Rams were division rivals. I mean, I'll take the Patriots all day.
See, I hated the.
So I don't quite
hated the
understand that.
Patriots
I don't quite
more
understand
than
that.
The Rams and the Eagles and
Well, yeah, but okay. What if the Patriots played the Saints in the Super Bowl this year? Who you pick? Who you favoring? You're not gonna root for the Patriots.
can they both lose?
I've asked myself that question many times over the last couple of years in the Super Bowl matchups that we've had, but no, they can't
Ah.
both lose.
Well, if they can't both lose, then I guess I'd just be unhappy either way.
Yes, but you can also be happy either way because someone
tell
lost.
you right now,
Like that's how you gotta look
If
at
that
it.
were to happen, the Saints,
I guess that's how you gotta look at
I
it.
would pick the Saints to win.
So
that.
I will always root against rivals, and that's sort of but though I'm not as big of a college like fanatic fan, so to speak, I do like Alabama, and why should anyone else in the SEC win? Why?
I'll tell you this though. If
Alabama doesn't even make the playoff, they're gonna disrespect Alabama this much. Why should any SEC team get any better?
I don't know, man. It's kind of I don't know.
Let Clemson have it. Let Clemson have it.
I'll tell you this.
I rooted for LSU against Oklahoma.
I'll tell you this though. I was happy seeing Clemson beat Alabama last season. I'll tell you that because I hate Alabama.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. That's like seeing Philly beat New England for non-Alabama fans in college, right? It's like the same sort of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like if the Bucks made it to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be mad about the Bucks making it as I would the Saints making it, you know?
No. Yeah,
and I'm like, hey, the Bucks need to go ahead and win for the division, you know?
Yeah, fair enough. For me, actually, I would with any NFC West team because I really dislike them all. Probably the Seahawks the most, but I don't want any of them to have nice things in general. That's the case for a lot of NFC teams, even though. Speaking of Jameis, by the way, really maybe to last segment, historic season, obviously.
He killed it.
30-30. He killed it on both ends. I mean, he threw the football to everyone.
He did.
5,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 30 picks, first quarterback to ever do
all of his receivers, running backs, opposing cornerbacks, safeties.
Everyone.
Yeah, everybody got a ball.
Everybody. Probably a couple head coaches on the sideline causing ball.
Oh yeah.
Sort of a Jason Garrett type of situation, but with a player. I think.
I think the Bucks are going to be really good in the upcoming seasons, though, over the next 2 seasons. As long as Bruce Arians stays there, which I don't see why he wouldn't.
I think so, yes. So, but the Jameis thing, like we've said this for 5 years. He's really good, talented. He just has to stop, throwing it to everyone else as much as he throws it to his own guys because that you see what happens. Like you're always going to be around this 8-8 mark, about around the 500 mark if your quarterback's around the 500 mark.
I mean, that's fitting. Half of your passes go to the opposing team. So 8-8 is a symptom of the problem.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not what you want, though. I feel like, you don't want to be stuck with 8-8 forever. That's the problem that the Cowboys have.
Yeah, exactly. And so you think Dak Prescott is just an 8-8 guy, and that's just who he is.
Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott's an 8-8 guy on a team that's not 8-8. It's not an 8-8 team. I think Dak Prescott with a, let's say, good above average coach, clearly above average coach, is better than 8-8. But he himself is an 8-8 kind of quarterback. He's like a Kirk Cousins sort of quarterback, or a maybe nowadays Tom Brady sort of quarterback who's just okay. Like he's good enough on an exceptional team to make a playoff push, and on an average team, he's not going to be the one to lift an average team into greatness. Unlike Carson Wentz.
Yeah, and we may see that right now. Actually, Carson Wentz could.
Please, please. It's the one pick we disagree on.
Yeah. He could break out. I mean, this could be his breakout. I mean, he technically had a breakout in his second season because he was playing MVP status.
I would much rather have the Niners play the Eagles than the Seahawks for a third time in San Francisco, and just generally. Yeah, and because I know those games are always close, and I'm not looking for close games anymore. I've had too many of those, so I want 2 blowouts.
Carson Wentz.
I want to blow out.
Heats up.
Yeah, I want to blow it off the Eagles. I want the Packers to show up and get 40 handed to them again. I won't go to the Super Bowl and not worry about anything.
That's what you want. But
yes.
I picked the Eagles to win that division, and
I
picked them to go to the Super Bowl, didn't I? Somewhere in there.
Did you?
I think
wow, that's
so.
Cool. We picked Carson Wentz to win the MVP.
Yes, exactly, and I think that was the basis of it. Actually, I probably picked the Falcons. Yeah, that's what it was. Falcons and Eagles in the NFC Championship game.
Oh, you picked the... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
You know what? Looking at it now, I also picked the Browns to win the North.
Oh, boy.
I think you did too, though.
Did I pick the Browns?
Yes.
I might have picked the. Nah, did
Yeah,
I?
You did.
Wow. Okay, that's actually gross. Yeah, that's not gonna happen again. Never, probably. But the Falcons pick the Falcons pick is more reasonable than the Browns pick.
Oh yeah, it is at this point for sure. Even though their records are really similar.
Yes, they are, but different types of
Yes,
seasons.
by far.
And I don't expect the Browns to recover as quickly as the Falcons will, even with Dan Quinn still being the head coach and apparently remaining
That
that.
sucks, man. Why is Dan
Yes.
Quinn still?
I don't know. Why is it? You tell me. I'm not the expert.
Maybe we'll just go 8-8 forever.
Well, welcome to purgatory. that's the Cowboys
Yeah,
life.
exactly.
The worst thing that can happen to a team.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's the worst thing because you're not good enough to make the playoffs most of the time, but you're also not bad enough to really justify firing everybody and rebuilding
Yeah.
and getting those draft picks.
Although-
So it's not a good situation.
Since Matt Ryan's been quarterback, we've made the playoffs exactly half of all the seasons he's played. So, 8-8. Welcome to 8-8. I guess we're just mediocre.
That's how it
Yeah.
looks. That's how it looks. There's a war going on outside
I hear
my house right now, and yes, I thought you would. We're gonna end this appropriately. Happy New Year to everyone. Listening to this whenever you may. Still waiting on the Jason Garrett news, and next week we'll be back with another set of predictions. We both have LSU. We differ on only one game in the NFL, which is going to be interesting, the Eagles-Seahawks game. The other ones we agree on, but I'm assuming you're keeping count again, and we don't have any bet. No, we do have a bet, right? Yeah, we do have a bet. I have to write that down. Because I'm trying to beat you in bets and the prediction game for the playoffs, since I couldn't do either in the regular season, which was disappointing.
Yeah.
But if you don't have anything to add, then or do
That's
you?
it.
That's it. All right, great. Thank you for watching, everybody, and we'll see you in the next one.
Deuces.